Calculator. So this is a training on the ICO arbitrage strategy. Now with the ICOs, it's probably one of the best times to get in because you're getting in way early before it even hits the market. And with that, there are a lot of volatility within it. Of course, you also want to pick, better coins over time as you get better and better at this. And you can want to see as you're interviewing someone for a job, and do they have all their act together? Do they have something going? Do they have an experience? All that stuff. And that it's a little more time consuming to do. So this is something that I would outsource. And I am also learning this myself. I will follow this guy that I'm going to be showing you later on. He's been doing this for a while, and you can either just go with what he has, but also there's also a lot of coins that he's not evaluating too that are coming on new that you might be able to get on. And sometimes he'll miss something, then later he goes back to like, oh man, I missed this one. I should have jumped on it, but it did really well. We're also gonna be doing it too. But once we get the process down, and as I'm kind of updated over time, you also want to outsource this to a virtual assistant to constantly do the research for you. You can look it over after it's all said and done. Hey, I recommend, your team will say, hey, I recommend this five. We check these five out, and that way it filters through a lot of the stuff. Because can spend a lot of time evaluating, reading the white paper and all this other stuff. But the biggest thing is like, how's their team? Are they credible? When you take the LinkedIn profile, is all filled out properly? Do they have a working, prototype? Is it a is it working prototype? Is it like a Ponzi scheme? They do have some of those too. And then what else? Like what's the market cap? There's some market caps where they're trying to raise like maybe 20 million or 100 million, but they can't even raise the first million. If they can't do that, then they can't push on because there's not enough people promoting it. Also, other influencers, promoting it too. Because really, like, let's say maybe if we look at a bad coin, but then somehow they got some influencers to promote it for them. Of course, it's gonna do well because it's how much you sell, and if you can sell it, then you can inspire a lot of people to hope into it. Then yeah, that's great. Then I'm sure it'll sell. But in reality, as it people start to realize, hey, this is coin is not going anywhere. Yeah, it's gonna drop too. Okay. So, what I would normally do is, find a coin that you like. I'll show you how to actually find it on the website, how to contribute to it. Once you contribute to it, then I have um, like a, and I kind of got it from Ian Bellina. That's the guy I'm gonna recommend on how sells his coins eventually. So eventually, but I made a little modification to it. I'm kind of using the Fibonacci model to sell the coins back. So I don't sell everything. So I'll go in with, let's say, 1,000 for example, and with that, every time it triples and it goes 3x, 6x, 12x, we'll sell 10% of it eventually, of each tier. And we kind of set that all up in the beginning. So as it moves up, it'll sell out, and then you can then use that money to reinvest into another ICO. But you always keep everything that you have for much later on. For where your goals is, if you eventually say want to buy a house or big purchase, then you can just cash it out. Find the coin that's not performing the most or whatever, or maybe it is performing well. I don't know, but you might want to offload some to jump into a new one. But eventually, you want to keep a lot of these coins for long term because if you hold anything long enough, they usually will um, grow and appreciate. But if you start to realize, hey, I'm not getting, they're not updating, people aren't really, realizing it's a scam, and you got into the wrong coin, yeah, dump it and sell it, move it on to something else. But you've already taken your initial investment out, so it's all free growth for you. And if it doesn't do well, then you already took your initial investment out. No worries. So this is the Evergreen ICO arbitrage method. It is a little bit more time consuming to do, but we're hoping to provide you, as a member, constantly updates on what we will recommend ourselves. And that way you don't have to do the work. You can leverage my virtual assistant and our work as a member, and just check on this website constantly. And I'll post updates as we update our spreadsheet, so you can go and check on it, and then and go from there. All right, guys. Thank you, and just stay tuned for the next couple of videos. I'll probably be building this section, over weeks to months, as we continue to learn more about this, and we'll post updates in our Facebook Wolfpack group, to get you update on it. All right, thank you, and have a good one.